Okie dokie. We're going to go ahead and give you some quick no's. No, you can't have an electric panel inside of a cabinet. And no, you can't use pointed Tapcon screws to secure the panel cover. And no, you cannot go without refreshing the antioxidant paste on these older stranded aluminum leads, nor where it goes into the neutral bar. And no, you cannot have multiple sized grounds, double bound, or in this case even I think there's one that's triple bound, with ground wires of different sizes. Again, antioxidant paste where the lead comes in, and you cannot have a missing wire bushing. And in order to not be a complete pain in the ass, I always pick up correct panel screws as I go through other inspections. So if I've got enough, I'll go ahead and put the correct screws in. No, you cannot have a water heater in an interior space without an emergency drain pan. And the drain pan should be plumbed to the outside. So if this thing floods, the water has somewhere else to go. If you're in a situation where it's nearly impossible, or you're going to basically tell the association that they have to start drilling holes in their walls, then what you do is you recommend the client install what is called a tertiary valve or an auto shutoff. So in this case, it would go on this main line coming in. There would be a sensor that would go down into the pan, although there are newer water heaters that have a sensor built in. Bream is doing that. Basically it shuts itself off if it senses water. The other thing you can't do is you cannot reduce the TPR valve discharge line. This is going from 3/4 inch to 1/2 inch. That's so it could go out at the original hole that goes outside. But again, that is another no. You cannot reduce that guy. Otherwise, you wind up with a potential steam bomb on your hands. Lastly, here in the smoke detector going off, you do not leave this house without telling your client, hey, I found some mold growth inside the air handler. Now, if you are not a mold assessor like myself, and you are relegated to using the words microbial growth or organic growth, then so be it. But no, you do not leave this house without telling the client that this system is ready for a cleanup. Now, what I'm going to do next is I'm going to go to all the different registers throughout the house, and I'm going to see what sort of growth we have going on. What we want to see, or what we want to look for rather, is to make sure that the migration hasn't taken place. And in this case, it did. It actually made its way to the registers. This will create what's called a feedback loop. The growth shows up at the registers, comes out, gets sucked back into the system, more growth inside, more humidity, or condensation rather, then it gets pushed back out again. So you get this feedback loop where it keeps coming back through the air handler system. So in this case, you do have to let them know that they should contact a remediation professional, get this cleaned out. The most important thing, of course, is that signature from the mold remediator. And while we're at it, let's go ahead and cover the differences between mold and mildew growth. So you can see out here on my patio deck, you can see the growth that is formed outside. So it's been a while since I've cleaned this up. You can see where I was scraping at some of it, but I'm too busy going around identifying mold and mildew to other people to clean up my own stuff. So what I use for this is a white vinegar. You can even see some mildew that's formed on the surface of this jug from sitting outside. Now, the area that you see that's nice and clear, that's the interior space of my lanai. So it's on the surface. These don't have deep roots to them, and it's easily cleaned. I have to go around, spray the deck area. You can see some of the spots that I got already, and that's what it winds up looking like. And the reason I bring this up is when it comes to explaining this to the client, you don't want to freak them out, man. This is just part and parcel of owning a home. You're going to have things grow from time to time, and it's a matter of knocking it back every once in a while. It grows, you knock it back down. That's where this stuff comes in. Works beautifully. This is an example of a clean, healthy register. You'll see no signs of growth on any of the fins. And this is my personal shower. This, all along this edge here, that's actually mildew. You can see there's no root system to it, no fuzzy spots. It's just trapped in between the caulking and the glass, or in this wood surface. And ultimately, it is not your job to play hero. It's not your job to freak people out or put an agent in their place. These are just things. They get fixed along the way. And in this case, it's just a matter of it builds itself up, you knock it back down. It is part and parcel of life on Earth, man. If we didn't have mold growth, we would be covered in probably 30 to 40 feet of vegetation. But I think the important thing is to have people turn their TV off when it comes to a story that 60 Minutes or Dateline runs. As we know with social media, panic sells. Panic will get people to watch programs. Panic will get people to tune in. And the thing that they manage to do is freak people out. And it's just part of life. And if you're making people panic, then you're doing it wrong. And it's time to start rethinking your words and your inflections in your voice. This is just part of life. Mold growth is part of life. The mold growth that you hear about on news programs, black mold, Stachybotrys, is so extremely rare that as a mold assessor, I have barely seen it. 9 times out of 10, we get cladosporium, hyphae, and Penicillium aspergillus, which are all plant spores. It's just these living things out here trying to make a living. And it gets into the house from time to time. And it just needs to be cleaned up. As far as costs, I give no estimates. I have my remediator that I refer them to. And that's who I recommend you guys getting to know a little bit. Get to know a good remediator that does their thing, doesn't overcharge, and doesn't freak clients out. Anyway, see ya.